All right, we're back in our Visual Studio Code. Hopefully you have your database set up. Otherwise, there's a million videos on YouTube. They're pretty good at it as well. So in my app.view, I am going to add the different things I want to attach to whenever it starts running, right? So make sure you have these dependencies and so on. So the first one we want to add is express, because we want to help we want to use this for all our routes and so on. So we do and require is spell it correctly, unlike me. And in this one, we want to require express, and remember to spell it correctly. And we have. And don't mind this little error here. If you get this one on yours, that might not be the issue, but I do on my Visual Studio Code. The next one we want to put in here as a constant, so we don't have to do all these things again, is mongoose, and basically the same thing. I'm gonna start copying these, I think. So we have that ready as well. Mongoose is here, there's two O's. And I want to copy this now, and the last one I want to do is body parser for the use of this one as well, body dash parser, like so. So these are the three different constants I want right now, so I can just use this name instead of this all the time. Cool. So I'm going to create some comments here for you later on as well. So we're going to create our Express app here, right? So I'm just adding this as a comment. So const app, which we'll be using quite a bit. We're going to set this to Express so we can use it throughout our code here. In this next part, I'm going to use this one here. Well, I'm going to do app.use, so that's what's cool. And inside this one, I'm going to do a few different things. Well, one different thing for now. First of all, I'm going to make a function. You can do a fat annotation as well if you want to. That's fine as well. I'm on a new keyboard, so how do I make one of those? There we go. So standard setup for this one here with a function, and inside the function we're going to pass in rec, res, and next, because we're going to use these things to do different things. So the response and next, prototype and required and so on. In here, I'm going to already now, because I know this will be an issue, I'm going to set up the CORS in here so it's ready for usage, right? Because this will give us an issue when we're having our node run on locally and we have our app running on the same computer. So this will give us issue with CORS, and there's different ways to handling this, but I'm going to paste it in here. I know I just pasted it in here. I'm going to minimize this right now so you can see all the code. So the first thing I'm putting in, I'm not going to write this because it takes too long, is res.header, and then access control, allow origin, and then using star to allow all of it. So we made sure CORS has access to it and won't give us the little error in our console log. Next line here is same thing, similar thing. I'm doing the CORS again, but I am in this time, instead of allowing things, I am setting up which methods I'm going to use. So in this case, I'm going to use get, head, options, put, post, and delete. So if you need more or you need less, you can put them in here. If you're not going to do post or put, you can just delete them in here. Haha, delete. And so on and so on. But I'm going to use these for this one. And as the comment here, copied from my other code, as you can see, is I'm using .fetch. I am not installing Axios to control the or grab the data. I'm just using the JavaScript .fetch prototype here to control everything. But here, this is the place if it doesn't work and you're like, what's going on? And it doesn't recognize something, it's usually because the methods are not accepted through CORS, and that can give us some issues. Next line of code here is the res header again. And then the same thing with CORS, we're authorizing tokens, origins, I can't remember what the rest are, but content type and so also JSON, for example, could be one of them. But again, this is, with the exception of these one in here, this is basically something you can find online and copy it in, or type it here, and I'll try to remember to put in description, so you can copy it from that one from the YouTube here. So these are the top part of the setup. So we have our, whoops, do it correctly, // So here we handle CORS, and it's also our middleware for making sure everything is correctly set up. Now I hope this video won't be too long, but whatever, database stuff. So here, yes, I know, comment. Here we're going to grab that information up here we have, because we're going to create a const and we're going to call this URI. And in here we're going to basically take this one up here that we copied from Mongo. So if you still have this open here, so this one connect, sorry, this part here, that's the one I'm copying right now. And in quotation marks, so it's a string, and you can basically just copy this one in here as it is. This should be enough for our system. So I'm gonna end this here, so make sure JavaScript doesn't make errors. Now we have this set up, and I'm going to use, I haven't created it, but I'm going to create models. So I'm just gonna set it up now. So I'm gonna use Mongoose here. And we're gonna use the prototype connect in here, and we're going to grab the URI, which is this one here. So passing this in, and hit the right keys, and in here we have our object as well. So I'm gonna go a little bit down so we can see this more specifically, maybe zoom once. Yes, there we go. So here we will attach or use our Mongoose from up here. We will connect it through the string here we have, where we have a link, and in this one I'm going to use, whoops, I don't know what I hit here. There we go, back here. So we're going to use some of the Mongoose options we can put in here, and one of them is called use new, spell it like exactly like this, parser true, and the other one is use unified, it didn't help me, topology. So I can't explain what they would actually mean, but you can research it. But this you need to, for this example here. For more, you can just search it if you want to figure that one out. Once this is done, so the Mongoose connect here, we're going to add a promise to it, so .then. So it is, again, is a reject or resolve. And here I'm going to use a feather notation. I deleted there we go. So in here, I'm just going to use the console log, help me computer, like so, and print out MongoDB connected. I don't want a capital C here because OCD connected, so like this. So we just set up a promise for this one to show us if it's connected, or we can do we will do a catch if we have an error. And then again, if you have an error, we will console log out the error like so. So this, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole thing here. I'm going to move this up here. So this is what we have in our app now. We have our three constants. We have our constant down here that calls express. We added a handler for CORS and some middleware, and then some, for now, default middleware database stuff. So the link for our Mongoose, using Mongoose options connect here and passing those things through. And then we're using a promise down here to say, well, if this is resolved, then show me this example. So if we connect it, then it's resolved. If we have a reject, then we catch that error and present it to us through the console log.